turnaround, right? Was I not streaming last night? I don't even remember. Is that bad? I think I was. It doesn't matter. I'm here now. Hello. I think it's like, oh, it is Sunday, but tomorrow is Labor Day, so a lot of people have it off where I'm from. But not me, because here I am working hard, right? Uh, Happy summertime. So, I think I was really excited to stream, but I had no. Usually, I'm fired up about a specific topic or want to do a certain deck reading or have like a somewhat semblance of a plan. Not a full plan, but like a semblance of one. And tonight I was like, no, fuck it, I'm streaming. And it's like, all right, what are we streaming? I don't know. I don't even care. I'm just gonna stream. So I feel like I decided whatever random thoughts, and then when I give myself free reign, it's almost too much. I was struggling to come up with a title for these reasons because I usually try to cue in on what the night might be like. And I just went with the shirt, right? Emotionally. Because I am. It's like, sure, I'm emotional, but really I just. I enjoy feeling emotions. I just didn't realize that was such a taboo thing to do for a better part of my existence. And this actually says emotionally guarded. But I tucked it in, so you can't even see the guarded part because I would say I am, in fact, not very emotionally guarded at all. Let's see. Why are we? I wonder if this. I wonder if this just cut. Did we glitch? I don't know what happened. Either way, let's just get the whole ad thing out of the way now. What do you say? All right, so I'm still recalibrating in the health aspect of my week, where I feel good enough to be doing this, but I still sound a bit froggy, and I don't mean froggies froggy. I mean incapable of even singing froggies if I wanted to froggies. Bear with me. Like I said, my mind, I almost said it is on encyclopedia mode, but I wouldn't say I'm ready to rattle off statistics by any means. It's more like anything that is coming to my mind, it's all not necessarily jumbled, but like flooded. Like so many things. I don't know how to explain what even transpired this evening that would make me feel this way, other than anytime I do things that I did when I was young, when I enjoyed them at a time where maybe I knew less about the world or the people in it, even. And I go to a place where I can check in and say, what has changed? Where have we come? What did I think would happen since then? And so, among these activities, living example, live example, today, watching the Royal Tenenbaums, which I low-key watched like kind of recently, probably a year ago, but took with fresh eyes this time. Because a year ago was first time in like 10, but this time it was like a boosted reset, reset round 2.0, whatever. I don't know why I almost feel like sharing the thoughts I was having when I was watching it, but like, I don't know, it did make me sad to get to the end and be like, damn, I remember when I thought X, Y, and Z, or saw this as amazing, romantic, whatever it is, and it's all very skewed. And it's still very cute, but you see it for what it is. The way Wes Anderson really focuses on the narcissistic personality type while still making it fun and aesthetically pleasing is honestly impressive, especially because his movies were from a time in which people were not having that conversation on a daily basis. This was pre-internet boom days, right? 2001, 2004, 2007. Notable years of his titles that feature some obviously narcissistic characters, right? Super good, super impressive, still really entertaining. But then when you look back, once you know and you're a little more educated on the subject, it's a lot more obvious. So it was very interesting to rewatch. And quite frankly, a lot of fun, but emotionally, right? But I love that. I just, what is the point of life if you're not here for the sentiment? It would never convince me that deciding to love things in any given moment is ever a bad choice. No matter what the outcome is, no matter how bad I might feel, no matter if I'm rejected or unreciprocated, it doesn't matter. I will always choose to just go this route, I think. I think it's just what makes us so uniquely human, and I'm not even sure I am human, so maybe that's why I'm like this. It's so funny and kind of random, but it is what it is. Maybe we should pull out the mystery deck tonight. It does kind of go with my outfit. I have no other way to choose because, like I said, I was really looking forward to streaming. I feel like there was so much on my mind or something, like just could talk, but then get on here and kind of bumble, not really know what to say, and get sidetracked about Wes Anderson, who is a Taurus. Okay, I'm sick of people acting like Taurus is blah 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 on the couch, boring. Okay, I will give you that, like, the whole aesthetic of Wes Anderson and his movies is sort of cliche Taurus, and I'm a little more bold or chaotic in my taste, and I know that that does sort of separate me from Tauruses. But once again, Wes Anderson, dude, I have to admit, I get that is like concrete white in me. I fucking love his movies. I just didn't realize they held up like they did, because they kind of do. It's like, oh, Wes Anderson makes the lens of white people movies. It's like, yeah, and he makes them all assholes. It's like, it's what he knows and what he does, but it's not any less true or any less fun to watch and laugh along to. I really like his movies. It's funny. It's funny. Like 20 years later, I'm like, yep, still, definitely. So that's kind of what I was saying earlier. It's like doing things that you would have done a long time ago. See how much of the same person you are and where maybe you're different. Or another thing I think is just clowning around. I get that we're old, but I just feel like it's funny to watch people fall to this pattern of like doing certain things, certain activities when you're young, and just thinking that at some point you have to age out of them. I think a really obvious one would be cartoons, right? There are people who are like diehard for cartoons. Some people are like, oh, strictly anime. Some who like watch only adult cartoons, or even all of the above. There's like diehard for cartoons at any age, and there's people who like grow up, stop watching cartoons, as if the type of media you consume would be any indication of your maturity levels. Anyways, I think the content you can find in cartoons varies way too much to dismiss the entire art form, not even genre, but art form, as childish. And I think across the board, we just see that we tend to, at least here in where I'm at, right? Or one would have seen going place to place even, is that we just tend to age out of things that we associate with our youth because we start doing them when we're young. But there are some things that we're supposed to do for our whole lives, like laughing and watching cartoons or walking around at night with your friends, right? I get that maybe you can't always do things by yourself because oh, it's not a safe world, but maybe it never was, and it's like we're not headed in a direction to where it will be. So enjoy these moments and allow yourself to be at least slightly carefree. I would say to hold on to youth rather than try to inject it into you. You know what I mean? Where it's like you just assume that you can't just go trek through the woods anymore unless you want to get exercise or like you're doing it with like the next generation with your children or something. But like you can just go fuck around and go off the beaten path, if you will. You know, go off trailing or off roading. You know, I had probably one of the last conversations I had, maybe not, with a friend who's passed. And he said he regretted trading in his coffee shops for bars. And I think this is a very natural course of things, right? Because when you're a teenager, you have to hang out at the places that don't serve alcohol and aren't 21 and up or even 18 and up. And so once you are of age, you want to move on to different things in different places. And so you let go the things you did thinking, oh, it's the child things. When in reality, they're for anybody. And the reason you did it as a child is because you couldn't do this other thing that everybody was telling you was so great. And in reality, probably isn't. You know? It is a matter of pick your poison. And it is questionable to serve caffeine to children, right? Because it is a drug. But it's just interesting to think about. And everyone's different because hobbies will influence what you do as an adult, right? But a lot of adults don't have hobbies. They're like, who has time for that? And it's like, man, if you could just break this habit, you think you're decompressing, but they're literally just draining the last bits of your battery. You know it's reading your mind. It happens all the time. You don't want to say things out loud in front of your phone, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we saw that thought. Get with the program, all right? Reconnect. You know? Make time for the things that you have always loved and not just the things that you suddenly love now, right? You don't love time on your phone. You didn't even have a phone. What did you do 20 years ago? And it's not as simple as, boomers being like, what would you do without that thing? It's like, literally think back. What did you do without that thing? I guess that is for an older crowd because others grew up with that shit in the palm of their hands, and that's crazy. Different elements, really. I mean, I can't even relate to that in a sense. But, try to remember who you were before all of this. And before you had the perception that everyone could see you at all times, right? But perhaps you already had that perception because, for example, someone like me who went to Catholic school and it was very heavily, what do you say? Not indoctrinated, but same thing. Not influenced. What's the word? Repeated, instructed, whatever. That God was watching all the time. I don't talk to that fool. I was probably talking to way more than just God, but, it was like, cool. So anyways, God. That's how I was. So some of us were prepared even for this world. And then it makes you wonder, what if some of these religious projections were in fact this fourth dimension that they were preparing us for? And it's not a place you go when you die, but a place you create outside of your mind. Whoa, heaven and earth, that's weird, right? That was creepy that I literally said that and got that card. What's this? Wow. Release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. I've had this cough. It's pretty much gone away, but had a cough for like about a week, I guess, maybe less. And my voice is just shot, and I just miss singing. I feel like I don't do it enough, but it's like you don't expect your voice to go out, so... I sometimes am discouraged by my low numbers, right? Sometimes it's like, ugh, it is not even worth it. I'm sorry, whoever is one person, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes I don't even mind. If you want to silently watch, that's great. I'll probably do it anyway because I'm in a mood to, you know? If I force myself to do it and nobody gives a shit, I'm gonna be salty about it. But if I want to do it and nobody gives a shit, I'm still glad I got it done. It can be readings or anything. Like, ooh, emotions, perfect. Maybe that's where I should stop. I kind of dig just pulling these cards out. This lineup is looking like, I almost said groovy. These being channeled message cards, I'm wondering if I'm shuffling and saying things. Let's see, so maybe we'll stop pulling. Stop pulling, okay? So, LOL. This deck can go either way. It can be Twin Flame, and it can be channeled messages. Mostly aliens, not gonna lie, but I consider it the gods, goddesses, guides, and galactics deck. Channel messages. And I don't really know how the Twin Flame stuff happened, other than, what say you? What if the Twin Flame connection is of, not necessarily the divine, but the, you know, other kind. And that's what makes them so fiercely complicated. I don't know why I just put that together when literally, duh, that makes sense. Aren't you glad to witness this revelation? I need to let that sink in. And of course, this clock says 12:12. So, on that note, I got chills, but actually I just might be cold. So, allow me to charge this battery and warm up and strap in for whatever is about to happen, because I have this feeling that this is going to be a very intense reading and no one's going to be here to see it. So I guess it's for me, and if somebody decides to watch or speak up, how fun for us. Until then, think about it. All right, I'll be right back. I must admit it's getting better, better all the time. I feel like my camera has been moving. Do you agree? I'm framed so far, I feel like I'm always... How does this work? I don't understand the backwards thing still. It's been how long that I've been doing this, and it's like, I don't even know. I need to come this way a little, maybe? And like, ooh, that seems more better, right? I don't know. Yeah, it feels like it's cool. Okay, so anyways, and then I could do this. Balling, chilling, big boss. Whatever. Okay, so, yeah. Anyways, I used to be angry, oh man. I get that song kind of popped up in my head a lot. I must admit it's getting better all the time. It's getting better. I don't really know all the words though, unfortunately. I only know those two lines, that it's getting better all the time. And I used to be angry, oh man. And that's what I sing to myself the most when I get that song stuck in my head. It's just that, right? And I don't usually put it on, but it'll come on, usually the cover version. I'm a little more familiar with that one than the original. Because I'm still catching up with the Beatles. Yes, we know. How could I? I don't know. John Lennon himself had to come down from the heavens and be like, listen, bitch, I need your help. For me to even consider listening to the Beatles. So, interesting that I just let that slip out and said he needed my help. Because honestly, that does make a lot of sense in retrospect. But at the time was just like, so much. It's so silly. And coming up on 3 years, it's like, good golly, Miss Lolly, maybe when you're not feeling so illy willy milly chilly, we discuss what the fuck you are saying sometime. We'll see. It's a tough pill to swallow, or just a tough reality, right? So yeah, I like that I have this nice even setup too, and they fell out very randomly, and it's like 3 in the middle and 5 on each side. It's really strange that like they're very balanced. So there's clearly, I don't want to really go back to this divine union narrative, but it is all kind of making it make sense. Where it's like, yeah, why didn't I see the connection between the twin flame ideal and the alien stuff? Especially this girl was like, not this girl, I don't know, it was a random on Reddit was talking about, maybe you're not supposed to, I think Reddit's public, so it doesn't matter if you say something someone says. She's like, yeah, people think me and my best friend might be twin flames because we like finish each other's thoughts and stuff, and we're always in sync, blah, blah, blah. And that's a cool thought. But I always thought of it as very highly romantic, And a lot of people discouraged her from even using the term or feeling like it could be that. And yet, now that I'm realizing, or maybe they're telling me, that connection is just not of this world. It's not like necessarily divine, because that would be very human and godlike. It's very much like a science in a different way, right? Or like science in a more abstract, intangible, unfathomable way. And that's what the connection is. And so if you're only plutonic, there's a certain level of trust, I think, that people have with their friends that they have never experienced with partners, in a sense. And it's the kind of bond that just goes unbroken. Maybe that is the true twin flame experience. It's so interesting. This is really about to be a baller reading, and you don't even give a shit. Somebody just turned on and was like, fuck it, I'll just let her babble. Put it on mute. Just keep cruising. I'm kidding. You're like, I just can't say anything because I won't make it count because I don't want to. Yeah. Psychic or whatever. Not psychic. Medium. Channeled messages. Okay. So, bottom of the deck. Ooh, big surprise. Kidding. I'm not insinuating anything. I wouldn't give a fuck either way. Ooh, yep. King of Air. And 6th position, Earth. 14th position, Air. And 6th position, Earth. So this is really, once again, going with the feminine mask energies just because it's uncomplicated in a sense. Ooh, King of Earth, too, at the top of the deck. Ooh, alien messages definitely going to be coming through with this first position Air, I can already tell you. I almost want to give names to the mask and femme situation. It's almost like they're telling me something different. Queen of Earth and King of Earth showed up, as well as Lady Gaga, which we love that, because reasons undisclosed, let's say. Um, super cool shit. Super cool shit. I love to see it. Sometimes maybe the point is to speak up about your experience. I am someone who will be very patient and wait for things to work themselves out, or wait for people to be ready or willing to work things out, because I am rather open minded, and rather than hold grudges, I just hold receipts. And I'm like, would you like to account for this transaction you made? And most people are like, nope, I'm going to pretend like I didn't make the purchase at all. I'm like, okay, it's going to stay in my stack of receipts then, or we can shred it up and move on, whatever. And it's whatever. People are at uh, different maturity levels, in the sense that it's not like a linear scale, but different levels of where they put that energy, right? Um, and for most people, tangibility, stability, physical is kind of their focus in the ways that they've matured, right? But it's so funny. I was like, why is this coming up? And I feel like the bridge here is that the common thing I'm seeing this week, or the past couple days even. I don't know what a week span is. It's like every 7 days is a week, right? I'm not talking about a particular day that I'm starting, But in the last few streams, I suppose, we were seeing that kind of like combo energy, like having the femme title with the masculine element. And so it would indicate to us that not that the femmes are taking a step backwards, but that it is more of it's not like they're mocking, right? It's not that they're mocking. It's kind of like it really is resolution to the self. It really is about being whole. It's about putting it together yourself, being both aspects or both angles of the yin yang, even, right? You can use the energies of yin and yang and ascribe whichever one is which, right? I don't know. They consider one feminine mask for that too. But it does feel like redundant words, right? For some reason tonight, I don't feel like calling them feminine mask, because it's something much different than that. There is situations happening amongst people, and it will twist and turn, and it will become whatever you want it to be, or whatever worth you put on it. And shall you limit its worth, then soon enough you will find it to be worthless to you. But should you see it as priceless, you understand how worthy you are to have it, right? And that's really a matter of perception. And sometimes part of perception is simply deception, and to literally deceive ourselves into thinking a certain way, right? To convince ourselves that we're happy, or to convince ourselves that we're whole, to convince ourselves we're wealthy. It does start with deception. It is sometimes comes from a lie, where you just have to tell yourself that you're okay. You have to tell yourself that you're happy. You have to tell yourself you did the right thing, even if you don't feel it, so that eventually you can convince yourself that you damn well did, right? And I mean that in a positive way. I definitely mean that in a positive way. That is part of what reprogramming your mind is, or even like, I wouldn't go as far as to say like decolonizing, but at the same time, psychological warfare is really obvious when you look at things like advertising. We've broke that down enough times, not you and I, but just in general, right? Somebody came on here just now. I don't want to corner you out. You don't have to stay. It threw me off. I started to think of a song I don't feel like singing, because what's the point? It's not even that you have an extra message. It's almost like you've got a message. You are the exact, I don't want to say prototype, but perhaps prototype is the word. You're exactly what we're talking about. it's like holding back to the point where the other person has to do twice as much. And when somebody starts putting in that amount of work, they forget their own cause, right? Even if it was initially to bring a bond closer, to connect to someone, at some point, if that balance is unevenly distributed, then the other person is going to be far gone, lost even, where it's like, oh yeah, I don't even remember why I started doing this, but I'm so glad I did because look at all these things that have happened. That's so nice. And then they turn around and see that you got halfway to where you started from when they are already. And they're like, oh, hey. What's the point at that point, you know? Just a little message for your message, whatever it is, just send it. Doesn't matter. This is why I tell people not to tell me anything when I'm doing readings, because you didn't even make it clear that you're a real human being. I just saw the view go up and instantly it was like a boop, just so you know. This is exactly what we're talking about tonight, is that some people move, I don't want to say divinely guided or premeditated, somewhere in between, right? To your own conscious choosing and your own unconscious living, somewhere in between that. Some people are well orchestrated in the way that they have smooth and almost gliding operations. It's people who things seem to come so easily to them, or the type of people that everybody sort of likes them, that sweeping, what is that, you know? And emotions is sitting here. I feel like, I don't want to get personal, it's weird, but nobody is getting, there's just a quiet night. You might just be lucky enough to see it for yourself. But there's some kind of emotion where it's like someone's floating. It's almost like an energy. I don't want to call it a tornado though, because it's not fast moving at all. It's almost as if the energy's unconscious of being around you, or you've put yourself in the thrust of it because you saw what it was, and it is very attractive. It's like, I don't know if it's necessarily a person, but it's perfection, if that makes sense. Like, it's this weird sweeping, I keep seeing like a cyclical thing. Yo, oh, you were the one who challenged me with my demons, right? Sorry, that sounded rude. On both our parts. It wasn't even like that. We were having a great time, correct? You were only here once. It was like a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, right? No, maybe you're new, or you just didn't follow me last time. Interesting, because I'm pretty sure we did like a whole thing that night. We're doing aliens instead of demons. Fuck it, you know what it was? It's my favorite love song. I said a song popped into my head and I didn't feel like singing it. My voice is shot, so I'm not really singing tonight, but it was some stupid fucking song I love. It's like I didn't need to say anything or do much, I could tell when you smile. That's all I got. Earlier I was like 3 in a row and then 5 on each side, but then I had a pile of 4 and a pile of 2, so it's split 2 and 1. Crazy. I have like this very symmetrical pattern in front of me with this mystery deck, which is like, okay, partially twin flame readings, which was random because it was intended to just be 4 channeled messages, because the first time I touched it and used it, it was just, oh man, it was like one of the best weeks of my life. My retreat with my White Witch. And it's my channeled Gods, Goddesses, Guides, and Galactics deck. But the twin flame thing, we started to think this evening maybe is more intergalactic than it is of this world or infernal magic, right? But like, we already dipped. You were being rude as fuck. Don't even pretend like you weren't, bitch. Kidding, right? I'm not assuming anything of anyone. This is for me to see myself giving myself the finger in the screen, because I get so sick of my shit sometimes. I can tell I'm I'm trying so hard to stay positive and fun and stuff, but like I'm slipping into that dysphoria. I can already tell. It's funny. But it's jovial. It's like Rick Sanchez, not Tyler Durden, you know? We embrace what we know, for we fear we don't. Kidding, and we embrace the unknown too. So yeah, emotions. That might be this feeling. Whoa! I was like, this card got brighter, and then I realized the light spins, so the color changed. Um, does look pretty sweet though. So yeah, if you feel like this might be a person that has this energy, or is kind of like once again, it's like surrounding you, but not in the sense of a tornado. It's a lot more slow moving and graceful and like not attractive in the sense that it's good looking, but attractive as in it attracts people. It's alluring even. And it's funny too that earlier I was saying how it seems like the femme aspects of a relationship or dynamic are beginning to step up and do the work of the masculine that isn't there for them or whatever. And in turn, they get so far so quick on their own that once again, they just drop the shit. But the energy is not necessarily a person, but a feeling, right? It's the actual emotions that are surrounding you, not necessarily the person. If you don't see it as a human form, where like there's just somebody maybe is having some weird vision. I don't know, or it's like a feeling. Yeah, a feeling. That's the whole point. Where there's something around you that's like warm. It's really weird. I don't know what that's about, and I can't get off the subject. Because the whole thing is to say that because the runner chaser dynamic gets very old very quick, it's a game of pulling and resisting, right? It's like pulling and resisting, but the thing is that who looks like the resistor is the one pulling. That's what I'm saying. I think that's where we're going with this energy thing, is like you are not harnessing this idea of a person, you're harnessing the feelings you have towards them. And if it's on your mind, it's because you're thinking about it. If that makes sense. You're pulling. And so when this person shows up, even though they are resisting, they might not be saying the kindest things to you because it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Because they know, especially it's not especially, but it's because it's the femmes, right? The intuitive water signs, the intelligent earth signs, or just women in general, or, you know what I'm saying? That kind of like, mom's got eyes on the back of their head vibes. The femmes are like, what are you doing? Because the femmes are the ones that are resisting. And the masks are the ones that are pulling. They're using this centripetal force around them to pull instead of run and chase, right? Because most masculines are used to being the chaser, and most femmes are used to being the runners. Like tease or string along, whatever phrase you want to use. But the not next step or next level, but like the next kind of like evolution of what you do beyond that point of running and chasing is pulling and resisting, especially when it's a connection that is meant to happen or has happened or has full disclosure, unfinished business. Because here's the thing, it's not like anybody's gonna die immediately and like it's a problem, whatever the fuck, okay? But at the same time, anyone could die in any moment. And so you gotta think, if this is so intense that you can't stop thinking about it, or you just have an energy surrounding you in regards to it, and you can't get this person away from you in a sense, like, imagine if you did die. You got unfinished business, and this person is like tethered to you until you figure it out in the afterlife, which is, let me tell you, way harder than just speaking to a living human being. You know? Watch Deadbeat on Hulu. That shit is really funny. There's like two inappropriate jokes that I can remember off the top of my head, but that was years ago I watched it, so I think it held up. But I'm just saying, you finish your business. It's not even like ghosting. What? Ignoring people. What? Even blocking people you actually know. I feel like the block feature should just be left for like internet trolls and people who want to argue with you and creepy dudes that won't stop hitting on you. It's not for like friends that you get in a fight with. In my opinion, I don't know. I think I'm just a lot more. I don't even want to say open-minded, but just I just see things differently. But I also have this problem where I continuously let people back in when they really never deserved a second chance, let alone third, fourth, fifth. But it's my choice to love, I suppose, right? And like, I think I live to get the hurt because, oh man, the poems. Let me tell you, the poems that you get from a little amazing, totally worth it. Not everyone's like that, but oh man, imagine cutting off communication and still having unfinished business when you're dead. Man, annoying. Let me tell ya, annoying. Thinking of Norma, right? Um, don't sing if you wanna live long. They have no use for your song. You're dead, you're dead, and none of them. The singing is worse than the smoking. So I do have these cards. It's just slow and quiet night. Isn't that funny? I think I literally offended the only person who was willing to talk to me. And they're like, fuck that. That's alright. Thought it was fun. But I'm not. Perhaps also sometimes with these decks is like the point is not to go card for card because honestly I'm looking at them and I don't really want to go card for card. I can tell most of the message is whatever I've been babbling about. Trust. It's a casual channel. It's not like a super intense scripted thing that they're delivering. It's like us having a conversation and working things out. Alien to human. They're almost trying to figure out how to convey things, and I have to do the equation that they're giving me and process an answer for the human feed. I love that. Very, very cool. Now I can't get that song out of my head. The cards that are striking me the most are the major arcana because there are a lot of them. I use this deck quite often, and I do feel like the major arcana just don't come out as much because they're really intense. They're really intense cards. So we have emotions, union, love, intuition, abundance, emotion, and intellect. And heaven and earth. Powerful fucking cards. It's these words that are standing out to me more than anything. Emotions, abundance, intuition. Those three. I honestly think those are the major key points. And I think because I was talking about heaven, I don't even remember what the fuck I was saying. Because I was talking about heaven when the heaven earth card came out. I do feel like, oh, baby, do you know what that's worth? Ooh, heaven is a place on earth. So we'll meditate on that for a second. I have to roll another ad before it starts doing it for me. So I'm gonna take a second to collect myself, see what we can do with these cards. It's a strange energy because you're connecting with much higher frequencies. And the connection's not always crystal clear, but it is always a cool feeling. So give me a moment. I'll collect myself. We'll figure it out. And thanks for being here, I guess. Okay, I'm back. I'm eating a cookie. Emotions, intuition, abundance. Emotions, intuition, abundance. This is so funny to me. I probably will take a break after this. I might leave these cards out for a little bit. I can't decide if I really want to read them or not. It seems like I got the message, but the symmetry of the spread is just so striking that I feel like I have to do it its honor, but I am really not in the mood to do a full-on tarot reading like this. But I will say that the resonance is really like, keep repeating, emotions, intuition, and abundance. And I think the message that I would get from that, right, is letting your emotions guide your intuition to lead you to abundance. And here's my thing. This is where it's like, I think, kind of tricky. Let your emotions guide your intuition. Okay, so what makes you feel good? Go towards it. If it makes you feel good, you go towards it, and it leaves you sad, disappointed, or, left out in the cold, then did your intuition not lead you to the right place? Were those the wrong emotions to follow? Because perhaps maybe you're supposed to listen to when you're sad, where you want to go, right? Maybe it's not when you're happy where you end up, but when you're desperate and alone already. And where you go is where you feel at home. Okay, so sometimes when emotions come up and we want those emotions to guide our intuition, we have to realize that the emotions that are going to be the most honest are going to be the ones that are, I don't want to say low vibe, because that ain't right. But they're going to be the ones that are the most honest, the most pure, raw, uncontrolled, uninfluenced even. Just pure sadness, desolation, desperation, and fear. Because where your intuition guides you, where those emotions guide your intuition, so to speak, is a way out. So think about that. If you're finding your way out by allowing your emotions to lead, and those emotions are things like sadness, anger, fear, etc., then imagine the same thing happening when you're happy, excited, confident even, when those emotions are what's guiding your intuition. That's when you're still making your way out. But what are you leaving at that point? You're making your way out of happiness. You're making your way out of success, so to speak. So to speak came up twice in the last 30 seconds. So that's just something to think. Like, sure, you can say go where your heart takes you, where happiness is, follow your bliss, right? But follow your bliss is sort of on par with chasing the dragon, no? What happens when you follow bliss? You pass it. You get right out of it. You move right beyond it. Oops. Because you were chasing something that you didn't need to move from. If it makes you happy, it will be there. And if it truly makes you happy, you won't need it all the time, right? I guess I don't believe in follow your bliss. I don't even really think chase your dreams is like a very apt thing to say either. Maybe follow a passion, sure, but right, so sometimes the emotions we want to guide us are not the emotions that are meant to guide us. And to get the truest compass of our intuition is to sit with some of the darker, sadder, heavier feelings so that we can calibrate and lead us to a solution more than anything, right? You don't need to figure anything out when you're happy. There's no problem. So you don't need to find a solution. Why create a problem by trying to keep it, right? You have to let it truly move with it. But when you find your solution to how you get out of a situation that you don't want to be in, is when you call in your true abundance. That's when you turn your new leaf, your wheel of fortune is spinning, right? I think that's a pretty cool message, honestly. I really like that. That's why I don't really want to touch this spread, but I also don't want to put it away yet. But this is, you're lovely, but it gets boring after a while. So I think I'm just going to go, y'all. I might pop back on later. Sometimes the later it gets, the more interesting the conversation. However, it just seems like it might be a slow night. And I can live with that. So if I decide to come back, maybe I will. If not, I'll see you tomorrow, perhaps for real, because two in a row, I'm feeling all right. Feeling upright. And that's good enough for me. So I'm going to leave these for now. If I'm inspired in a little bit after perhaps a meditation or some kind of inspiration, then so be it. If not, I'll leave them until the next time I stream and we will resume this reading. I'm kind of looking forward to it, but also feeling like I should just undecided. So anyways, I'm going to contemplate on it. I'm going to pray on it. So thank you for tuning in quietly. I'm going to go for the evening, I do believe. Like I said, if for some reason I find the inspiration to come back on here and finish this reading, I will. Otherwise, thank you for being here if you're even real. Just kidding. Enjoy your day of labor or laborless activities. And thank you for being here. I hope to see you next time on my stream. Thank you. Good night. Good luck. And of course, I love you so much.